Today I'm going to be showing you how to make part 1 for assignment 4.2 model creation. As you can see here, this is part 1 as it appears. Something that y'all want to do when you're making a part is think about how it's going to be extruded and cut. For instance, I'm looking at this, our plan of attack is to draw this front shape first, and then we're going to extrude out. So let's see how we're going to start doing that. We're going to be in Autodesk. We're going to start a new file, a standard part file.ipt. Once it loads up, we want to start a 2D sketch. We're going to choose the XY plane. This is where I'm going to start at this bottom corner. I'm going to use the line tool to just draw this entire outline of a shape. So the first dimension you need to know is 1.5. I'm going to line, I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to point it up. I'm going to type 1.5, enter. That starts our line. So I'm going to continue to draw the rest of the shape using the dimensions found on the object. Point it towards in, it's 1 inch in. Then it is, I know, 1 inch up. All right, let's go back and check. 2 inches across. Then we have the rest of these. So we're going to go 2 inches across. Notice that once again, it is very important that you add dimensions as you're creating the object. I'm going to type 1. Let's again point down. You want to add dimensions you're creating the object so you don't have to go back and do it later. All right, let's go back and look at the bottom section here. So we can see that this is supposed to be 0.5. Each little leg is supposed to be 0.5 across, and it is 0.5 from this bottom edge. So we're going to go 0.5. We're going to go up 0.5. Now, here's the problem is we don't know how long to make this line. It doesn't say in the dimensions, but let's look. If the entire object is 4 wide here, and each of these legs are 0.5, that leaves us with 3 inches in the middle that this line has to be. So we can come back here for 3 inches, and then we can finish our sketch. I'm going to right click OK. So if you look, here's the first sketch. Here's the front part of this. We now need to extrude and make it 3D, and we need to see how deep it needs to be. And that we can tell right here at the 2.5. So we're going to finish sketch. I'm just going back to my home view so you can see it, clicking the home button. Be sure you're making use of your view cube if you haven't. I'm going to extrude. We have our profile selected. Now don't just hit OK, you need to change the distance to the correct distance, 2.5. Now we can hit OK. I like to click the home button here again, and that pulls our shape into view. The next thing we need to do is make this little shelf on the side. All right, so let's look at the important parts of it. It's 1.5 long, deep by 0.25 inches tall. So what we're going to do is start a new 2D sketch right here on this side. Notice how the side highlights. All right. I'm going to do a rectangle, and I'm just going to start in the middle. You don't want to start it on the edge because otherwise it'll snap and lock to that edge. We're going to just start it right here of, let me recheck our dimension, 1.5. Then I hit the tab key, and that'll jump to the next dimension to edit by 0.25 and enter. I'm going to hit escape to back out. Now this is not in the right location, but that's what we're going to be using the dimension tool for. So now we need to find out how far it is away from each side. It is, the leading edge here is 0.5 inches from the front face and 0.75 from the top. So this edge and this edge, notice how the edges highlight, when you hover over them, and because you're about to select them, these need to be 0.5 inches apart. Notice how I use the dimension tool. See, edges that you can dimension are highlighted. This edge, and we wait for it to highlight, and this edge, pull it out so it's not cluttering up my drawing, need to be 0.75 inches apart. Right, and now we've properly placed it. You see that it's turned all the way blue or purple, however it looks to you. That means it's fully constrained. And you can see down here on the right, it says fully constrained. That means it's not going anywhere. We're going to click Finish Sketch. So we need to extrude it. Let's go back and look at our depth. Extrusion distance is right here. This is going to be 0.75 inches. So we're going to extrude. Now that we have more than one profile, we need to select a profile. So we're going to select this. Our distance, we're going to change to be 0.75. We're going to hit OK. I'm going to center this back up so you can see it. And there it is. There is part 1 for assignment 4.2, model creation.